By day, Elena Marlowe was a respected behavioral analyst working with high-profile law firms, helping build criminal profiles and predict witness behavior. She had a quiet elegance, a disarming intelligence, and an unshakable calm that made people trust her instantly. Her colleagues admired her precision, her clients praised her insight. But what no one knew, what no one could imagine, was that Elena had another life, a darker life. By night, she became someone else entirely. Names changed, faces changed, a trail of identities that led nowhere. Underneath the sleek facade was a woman with a meticulous plan, driven by something few could understand, a calculated need for control, cloaked in ritual and revenge. The first killing was in Seattle. A tech mogul found in his penthouse apartment, the scene staged to suggest suicide. No signs of forced entry, no surveillance footage, no fingerprints. To the police, it looked open and shut. But a single strange detail, the placement of a rare black iris flower, was overlooked. The second was in Denver. A respected judge poisoned quietly in his own home. Again, the crime scene was clean. Again, no leads. And again, a black iris was left behind, tucked into a book on the shelf. By the third death, this time a psychiatrist in Chicago, the pattern was undeniable. Each victim had once been connected to the same defense firm where Elena had previously consulted. Each had played a role in overturning a wrongful conviction over a decade ago, a conviction tied to the death of Elena's younger sister, a case long buried in legal shadows. The FBI took notice. Agent Marcus Hale, a seasoned profiler with an obsession for cold logic, was assigned to the case. He didn't believe in coincidence. The pattern was too perfect, the killings too spaced, the execution too flawless. The killer, Hale noted, was not only precise, but almost artistic, leaving behind just enough to be noticed, never enough to be caught. As more files crossed his desk, he began to draw connections that local law enforcement had missed. Victims who had once been powerful, now reduced to statistics. Each one fell in a different state, under a different set of circumstances. The only common thread was the black iris, a flower that, in ancient lore, symbolized justice and resurrection. Hale assembled a small task force. They began re-examining court records, firm rosters, client histories. Then they found her name, Elena Marlowe, appearing subtly in various roles connected to each victim: consultant, assistant, intern, always on the periphery, never enough to raise suspicion. But by the time the FBI added her to their persons of interest list, Elena was gone. The Seattle apartment she once lived in had been vacated 3 months ago. In Denver, she'd rented an apartment under a different name, now empty. In Chicago, security footage outside the psychiatrist's building revealed a woman in a hat and scarf, her face turned away, walking calmly into the night. Who she really was and what she would do next remained a mystery. But one thing was certain: she was brilliant, methodical, and always several steps ahead. And now, for the first time, the FBI was playing her game. Agent Marcus Hale stood before a whiteboard littered with photos, maps, and case files. Behind him, a team of hand-picked agents reviewed timelines and forensic reports. The Bureau had formed a task force solely dedicated to stopping the woman they now called the Vanishing Killer. There was no doubt Elena Marlowe was methodically eliminating key players in a long-buried legal scandal. The question was, how was she doing it without leaving a trace? Elena, meanwhile, moved through cities like a phantom. Her ability to disappear wasn't just skill, it was obsession. She changed her appearance effortlessly, hair dyed, posture adjusted, accents altered. In one city, she was a tech recruiter. In another, a freelance journalist. She used encrypted phones, burner laptops, and signal jammers. Her aliases were supported by synthetic digital histories she created herself. While the FBI worked in real time, she stayed 2 weeks ahead. And still, she watched them, always watching. The flashbacks came like ghosts. At age 15, Elena had sat in the back of a courtroom, eyes wide with fear, watching her older sister Lila break down on the witness stand. The man who killed her had walked free, thanks to a flawed investigation and a power-hungry legal team that twisted the truth. Lila took her own life 3 months later. Elena never forgot the moment she found her, never forgave the people who made it happen. That day, something inside her changed. She read everything she could: law, psychology, forensics. She interned with prosecutors, shadowed investigators. But with every step deeper into the system, she saw how broken it was, how easily money and status corrupted justice. She came to one conclusion: if justice wouldn't come from within the law, it would have to come from outside it. Back in the present, the FBI task force began narrowing their focus. They found fragments of surveillance footage, glimpses of her in train stations, coffee shops, hotels. Facial recognition offered inconsistent results until they realized she was subtly manipulating the algorithm, distorting her features with makeup, glasses, or scarves in ways that tricked even AI. But Hale was relentless. He began predicting her pattern, not just geographically, but psychologically. She's not just eliminating people, he told the team. She's recreating the trial that failed her sister and delivering her own verdict. They put her former law school professors under protection. They reached out to anyone who worked on the original trial. Some were uncooperative, some were terrified. And then, despite their precautions, another body dropped. This time it was a defense investigator in Boston, found dead in his townhouse, another black iris placed delicately on the windowsill. No forced entry, no DNA, not even dust displaced. The killer had struck again, right under their noses. The media caught wind of the black iris connection. Headlines exploded. The FBI's failure was public. The pressure mounted. But Elena didn't care about headlines. She was executing the final stages of her plan. Each name on her list brought her closer to peace. And each time the FBI got closer, she changed direction, vanished into another identity. For Hale, it became personal. He began studying her, not as a fugitive, but as a wounded mind. He began to respect her brilliance, even as he feared what she might do next. "She's not stopping," he told his team one night, staring at her photo on the board. "Not until she's rewritten the ending." And somewhere, watching the press conference from a quiet cafe in Montreal, Elena smiled faintly, sipping her tea, already knowing what the next move would be. It had taken nearly a year, but Agent Marcus Hale finally saw an opening. One name remained on Elena Marlowe's list: Charles Denton, the lead prosecutor in her sister's wrongful conviction case. Denton had gone underground after the FBI identified the pattern, living under federal protection in a secure estate outside Savannah, Georgia. The task force, now fortified with cyber experts, behavioral analysts, and forensic specialists, monitored every point of entry, every signal, every shadow. Hale was convinced this was where she'd strike. "She's exact," he told the team. "Methodical. She won't deviate. Denton is the final chapter." A plan was drawn: layered security checkpoints, drones patrolling the estate, every vehicle scanned, every signal tracked. The estate became a fortress. Denton was told nothing. His reactions needed to be authentic. Hale wanted her to believe it was just another vulnerable target. And then, 3 nights later, something strange happened. The estate's power flickered. Not off, just enough to reset the cameras. It lasted 12 seconds. When they came back online, everything appeared unchanged. No signs of breach, no alarms. But Hale felt it in his gut. He ordered a sweep. They found nothing at first, until a junior agent noticed something odd in the guest house. A single black iris, fresh, cold to the touch, placed on the center of the table. No prints, no DNA. No one had seen her come or go. Denton was unharmed, but shaken. And in the corner of the room, burned into the wall with an acid-based etching tool, were 6 words: "Justice isn't given, it's taken." Panic rippled through the task force. How had she slipped through a fully locked-down operation? Hale reviewed the footage frame by frame. Then he saw it. A catering van allowed entry hours earlier. The driver was female, wore a face mask and tinted glasses. Her ID scanned as real, her manner calm and professional. She'd served Denton tea. No one had questioned it. The ID, fabricated, The digital profile? Wiped 30 minutes after she left. She had been in the house, right next to her final target, and she let him live. That's when Hale realized this wasn't a missed opportunity, it was her endgame. Elena had rewritten the trial. Denton, left alive, would now live in fear, always wondering if justice would come for him next. That was the real punishment, psychological, permanent. After that night, Elena vanished. Months passed, leads turned cold. Interpol alerts flagged nothing. Anonymous tips yielded dead ends. No financial activity, no surveillance sightings, no new murders. It was as if she had never existed. The case officially went dormant 6 months later. The media dubbed her the Vanishing Killer. Speculation turned into myth. Books were written. Podcasts dissected every detail. Sightings were reported in Morocco, Iceland, Argentina, but none confirmed. In the FBI's digital archives, her case remains open, under the highest classification. And yet, every now and then, Agent Hale receives a letter. Always the same. A single sheet of PIE,